Pause for a moment and consider this. What if the constant push, the relentless striving, and the pressure to control every outcome are actually holding you back? Taoism, an ancient Chinese philosophy, teaches that there is a natural flow to life, a rhythm that guides everything from the growth of a seed to the changing of the seasons, and that, when we learn to align with this flow, life becomes effortless and harmonious. At the center of Taoism is the concept of the Tao, often translated as the way or the way of nature. The Tao is not something external to be chased or achieved. It is the underlying current of the universe, operating through simplicity, spontaneity, and balance. Imagine a seed planted in fertile soil. It does not force itself to grow or rush towards sunlight. Instead, it absorbs nutrients, responds to the environment, and grows at its own pace. Over time, that seed becomes a sprout, then a sapling, and eventually a towering tree, all without exerting unnecessary effort. This natural unfolding mirrors the path of human life. Modern society encourages speed, control, and constant achievement, which often makes us overlook the beauty of gradual growth and the wisdom of patience. By surrendering the need to force outcomes, we open ourselves to opportunities we might otherwise miss. Taoism teaches that when we practice non-doing or wu-wei, we act in harmony with life's flow, responding intuitively and spontaneously rather than struggling against reality. This principle does not mean laziness or passivity. It is an active engagement with the world, guided by awareness, presence, and timing. By understanding the Tao, we learn to trust the process of life, to recognize that everything has its own pace, and to realize that sometimes the greatest accomplishments arise not from relentless effort, but from aligning ourselves with the natural rhythm of existence. In this video, we will explore practical ways to embody this wisdom and discover how letting go can lead to true achievement, balance, and fulfillment. Wu-wei, often translated as non-doing or effortless action, is one of the most powerful, yet misunderstood principles of Taoism. Many assume it encourages passivity or laziness, but in reality, it is about acting in harmony with life's natural rhythm. Imagine a surfer riding a wave. The surfer does not fight the ocean nor try to control every movement of the water. Instead, they move with the wave, adjusting intuitively, harnessing its energy without unnecessary struggle. In life, Wu-wei teaches a similar approach. When we resist reality, try to force outcomes, or impose our will upon every situation, we expend energy and create friction. This manifests as stress, frustration, and burnout, and often pushes us further from our goals. Wu-wei asks us to pause, observe, and respond in alignment with the circumstances around us. This requires cultivating awareness of subtle cues, trusting intuition, and knowing when action is necessary, and when it is better to wait. For example, in career decisions, instead of over-planning and micromanaging every step, Wu-wei encourages observing trends, preparing quietly, and acting decisively when the right opportunity arises. Similarly, in relationships, forcing connections or controlling outcomes often backfires. Allowing interactions to unfold naturally fosters trust, depth, and authentic connection. The modern world, with its emphasis on hustle, multitasking, and constant productivity, often conflicts with this principle. Yet, by practicing Wu-wei regularly, we can navigate life more smoothly. Daily exercises may include mindful pauses, deliberate breathing, or focusing on one task at a time while remaining receptive to subtle changes in the environment. Over time, effortless action becomes a skill, a natural way of moving through life with efficiency, grace, and less resistance. The essence of Wu-wei is simple. Act when the moment is ripe, pause when it is not, and trust that life's flow will carry you toward your desired outcomes without unnecessary struggle. By internalizing this principle, we not only reduce stress but also create space for creativity, insight, and serendipity to enter our lives naturally. In Taoism, Yin and Yang represent complementary forces that permeate all aspects of existence. Yin embodies qualities such as receptivity, rest, and introspection, while Yang represents activity, energy, and outward expression. These forces are not opposing enemies but interdependent partners. like night and day, winter and summer, or the ebb and flow of tides. Life and personal well-being depend on a harmonious balance between them. Excessive yang energy, overworking, overthinking, overplanning leads to stress, burnout, and imbalance. On the other hand, excessive yin energy withdrawal, stagnation, or avoidance of action can cause missed opportunities and indecision. Mastery lies in recognizing your natural cycles and consciously integrating both energies. For instance, a creative professional may harness yang energy during periods of focused work, innovation, or problem solving, and then intentionally allow yin energy through rest, reflection, or leisure. The Taoist analogy of a seesaw illustrates this. If one side is too heavy, balance is lost. Similarly, modern life often emphasizes constant action, pushing individuals to overuse yang, leaving yin undernourished. Practices such as mindful pauses, meditation, journaling, or simply spending time in quiet reflection can replenish yin energy. Conversely, engaging in intentional, focused activity, exercise, or creative work cultivates yang energy. By observing these cycles and responding accordingly, we achieve harmony that supports mental clarity, emotional stability, and sustainable productivity. Beyond personal well-being, yin and yang balance extends to relationships, decision-making, and long-term life planning. For example, an entrepreneur balancing intense work yang with time for contemplation, learning, and strategic reflection, yin makes wiser decisions, sustains energy, and builds resilience. Ultimately, integrating yin and yang is not about rigid schedules but cultivating sensitivity to life's rhythms. Knowing when to act and when to rest, and trusting that balance fosters both inner peace and external effectiveness. Taoism teaches that harmony is not passive. It is a dynamic dance, an ongoing calibration that allows life to flow effortlessly, with clarity and purpose. The concept of emptiness, or the void, holds a central place in Taoist philosophy. Lao Tzu instructs us to attain utmost emptiness and abide in steadfast stillness, highlighting the transformative power of moments when the mind is quiet, receptive, and unforced. In our modern context, the mind is like a busy highway buzzing with notifications, to-do lists, worries, and constant planning. Trying to control every outcome or overthink decisions is equivalent to driving at full speed on that highway, creating tension and accidents along the way. Taoism encourages us to step aside, pause, and experience the void. Embracing emptiness does not mean abandoning action. It means creating mental space for clarity, insight, and spontaneous wisdom. When the mind rests, intuition becomes sharper, creativity flows more freely, and opportunities that were previously obscured reveal themselves. Practical ways to embrace the void include taking mindful pauses throughout the day, meditating, walking in nature without distraction, or simply observing the present moment without judgment. Even brief moments of silence can allow the subconscious mind to process information, resolve conflicts, and generate new solutions. The void is a fertile space, much like an empty canvas ready for the brush. By integrating stillness into daily life, we reduce mental clutter, diminish anxiety, and cultivate a resilient mindset. This principle also teaches patience. Rather than forcing outcomes prematurely, we allow situations to unfold naturally, creating conditions for optimal action. In relationships, careers, or personal goals, embracing emptiness enables us to respond with clarity and authenticity, rather than reacting out of fear, desire, or compulsion. Over time, the practice of dwelling in the void strengthens self-awareness, sharpens intuition, and allows life's natural currents to guide us toward meaningful achievements without unnecessary strain. Attachment is often the root cause of struggle, stress, and disappointment. When we cling to specific outcomes, desires, or expectations, we expend energy trying to control reality, like forcing a square peg into a round hole. Taoism teaches that true freedom and effectiveness arise when we release rigid attachment to results. Lao Tzu reminds us, "The world belongs to those who let go," illustrating that the act of surrender opens pathways that were previously blocked. Letting go does not mean giving up on goals or abandoning responsibility. Rather, it is about loosening the grip of the ego and embracing flexibility in the face of uncertainty. In daily life, attachment can manifest as obsession over a promotion, a relationship outcome, or societal approval. When these attachments dominate, every setback feels catastrophic, and every delay triggers anxiety. By practicing detachment, we redirect energy toward action that is meaningful, aligned, and effective, rather than wasted in futile struggle. Techniques include reframing goals, focusing on processes over outcomes, practicing gratitude for present circumstances, and cultivating mindfulness in moments of stress or desire. Imagine baking a cake. Obsessing over perfection creates tension, yet embracing the process allows joy, creativity, and adaptability. In personal growth, detachment allows learning from failures without shame or frustration. In professional contexts, it encourages strategic flexibility, innovative thinking, and resilience. Taoism teaches that by letting go, we open ourselves to life's natural flow, discovering opportunities, solutions, and experiences that cannot be forced. This freedom transforms stress into serenity, struggle into alignment, and ambition into graceful accomplishment. Simplicity, as Lao Tzu emphasizes, is the key to clarity, efficiency, and contentment. Modern life burdens us with endless tasks, distractions, and material desires, often clouding judgment and consuming energy unnecessarily. Taoism encourages focusing on what truly matters, decluttering both mind and life, and embracing a minimalist approach to effort. This does not mean abandoning ambition, but choosing priority, purpose, and mindful engagement. For instance, instead of juggling multiple commitments or pursuing every trend, we select actions aligned with long-term goals and inner values. This deliberate simplicity enhances focus, reduces stress, and increases satisfaction. Analogies from nature illustrate this. A river flows clearly without forcing obstacles. A tree grows toward sunlight without unnecessary branching. Practical steps for cultivating simplicity include daily prioritization, letting go of excess possessions, reducing mental chatter through meditation or journaling, and appreciating small yet meaningful moments. Even relationships benefit from simplicity. Clear communication, authentic connection, and intentional presence replace complex dynamics and misunderstandings. Taoism also connects simplicity to purity of mind. By stripping away non-essential concerns, we reconnect with our innate wisdom, creativity, and intuition. A simple life fosters gratitude, presence, and alignment, allowing achievements to arise naturally rather than through force. In essence, simplicity is both a strategy and a philosophy, guiding us to act effectively, live intentionally, and experience fulfillment without unnecessary struggle. Nature serves as the ultimate teacher in Taoism, reflecting the principles of effortless flow, balance, and timing. Observing trees, rivers, seasons, and wildlife reveals patterns of growth, adaptation, and harmony that human life can emulate. The Taoist maxim, "Be like the forces of nature. When it blows, there is only wind. When it rains, there is only rain," encourages aligning with life's natural rhythms rather than resisting them. Immersing ourselves in nature cultivates mindfulness, reduces stress, and strengthens intuition. Simple practices include walking in parks, observing the sky, gardening, or simply noticing natural details in daily life. These interactions remind us that life unfolds at its own pace, that struggle is unnecessary, and that resilience emerges from adapting rather than forcing outcomes. Even in urban environments, micro-practices such as tending to a plant, listening to birds, or taking intentional pauses outside restore balance and perspective. Nature also teaches impermanence. Seasons change, trees shed leaves, and rivers shift course. Recognizing these patterns fosters patience, acceptance, and flexibility in our personal and professional lives. By regularly engaging with nature, we internalize Taoist wisdom. Harmony, effortless action, and balance are not abstract ideals, they are observable realities, offering guidance for aligning with life's flow, enhancing clarity, and cultivating deep, sustainable well-being.